In this episode, I demonstrate how to turn a traditional antique bracelet into a permanent bracelet. A friend of mine loved her permanent bracelet so much that I made for her. She brought me this antique bracelet that she really enjoys, but would prefer it to be a permanent bracelet. I was hesitant at first because it's rather tricky. It has these links that are unusual, and I would have to thread through some links on the side. There will be two links that are folded over that I have to weld, thread the jump ring through on the sides, through both of them, and it was tricky. It was rather old, and the links are flattened. So I got one side in, and it was quite a struggle to get the other side because there was not a whole lot of give in the bracelet, and she wanted it to fit exactly that. With the clasp, it was a bit loose. Without the clasp, it'd be perfect, but I had trouble putting my fingers underneath, as you can see, in threading it through. And I didn't want to use a needle or a pin to ream the loops bigger because all of the links were flattened in a pattern. But if I was to do it all over again, I could have, yes, reamed the holes of the links a little bit, thread them through, welded the jump ring first, and then flattened it back to the precise pattern. But I didn't do that, and this works out very well too. I was careful to make sure that she was comfortable and that the links were not, see, the large jump ring is 3 mm, but it was quite nice as it is. It had a focal piece. Now, if afterwards I could have made it square to fit the other links. However, we discussed it and she liked the circle as it was. So here, making sure that I was closing it properly. The only thing was that there was just not enough space from the jump ring that was exposed because these were double links on either side. So there wasn't a whole lot of metal to hold on to. And I wasn't sure whether holding on to the links of the chain would be sufficient for welding like this. So we're going to try that. It's always tricky to film, especially when we don't have an extra person to do the filming. The other thing is, people have asked, how many times can you actually weld the jump ring? Can you do it more than once? And the answer is yes. And here I demonstrate that. I'm welding it. So that was the third time. And I had to readjust, and I did it on the fourth time. So as long as you withdraw after the weld and then put it back on, it will weld the second, third, and fourth time. People ask, what happens if the electrode is held right to the jump ring without removing? Will it rapid fire? And the answer is no. So that is the finished piece. And she liked it as is. And the other permanent jewelry piece I did for her for, I believe it was a year ago. And this fit perfectly. It was a great idea. And that was a jump ring. I flattened this slightly. And that day we did others.